Hello, it's Nikki. Welcome back to episode 4 of the show. I am so delighted to see all the listening popping up all around the world. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And also, if you know somebody who might love this kind of content, please let them know. Do share, and also look out for something that is launching very, very soon. It's totally free. It's an extension of the podcast, and all will make sense next week. Oh, is it going to be next week? I think it's going to be next week. I've said it now. I've said it. Okay, welcome to part 3 of this series that we're talking about this week, all around cost. And this is very much about you. Your offering, what you bring to the table, your contribution, your messaging, and really elevating you to that full-bodied version of yourself. This is often something that many of my clients struggle with and they want my help with. This sense of, on the inside, knowing that they are capable, efficient, experienced, brilliant, all of the things. And then finding that way to not only translate that into their marketing, but also have that sense of embodying all of that experience, value, brilliance, etc. without it feeling ick, without it feeling like there's some kind of show off or what would people think, and just feeling a little bit wobbly around that. This is going to be a work in progress because many of us were not in this conversation of you are fantastic and brilliant and the best and I love you and you should be the number one always. I know my own experience at school was very much about literally keeping my head down. I remember my mum saying to me as a teenager, you really need to put your shoulders back because you're going into rooms with your head down with this curved spine, and that's not what you need to do. And I remember thinking, I know why I do that though, because somebody might throw something at my head. Somebody might spit at me in the middle of the street. Like, seriously, this is how our school rolled. And so even now, when I do things in my business, even though I'm a big woman of 43, all of those thoughts and feelings can come back. And I really have to check myself. I really have to reconnect with my mission, where I'm going, where I've been, and operate from that place. I do not wake up every single day, 10 out of 10, saying, wow, I think I'm fantastic today. I am a human being, as are you, and we are all going to have these wobbles. So, exercise number 1. I want you to look at your life and your business, and I'm going to grab my notes so I don't miss a trick here. And I want you to look back on your life and business and truly acknowledge and write down what you bring to the table. Because many of our default settings have way too much fluffy language. Oh, I'm just doing this, or I haven't been doing this very long, or sorry to bother you, or all of these things. And I want to show you a way where you can be a lovely, brilliant, excellent, connected, heartfelt person and also be that leader that you want to be. And it is our responsibility, because nobody else is coming along and saying, now I think it's time for you to go up to the next belt, for example. It's not like in karate where or dancing or anything like that, where they say, oh, well, we think you're ready for the exam now. We think you're ready to move up to the next level. That moment never comes. We have to command that. And I'm not saying that all of a sudden I'm exactly like Oprah Winfrey. That's the kind of standard that I am. I'm not. Oprah Winfrey is Oprah Winfrey, and she is definitely on my vision board. She's one of my idols. I think she is fantastic, of course. But what I am doing is operating from that place of that big woman energy. And I want you to do the same, because sometimes when we are going into rooms and we feel a bit wobbly, it is so easy to reconnect with, say, that 5-year-old version of ourselves, that little girl standing in the room, hoping for the best, hoping somebody will like them, hoping somebody will notice them and invite them to come and sit with them. And now is your time to take up that space and lead in the way that you want to be led. And guess what? People want you there. People want what you have to offer. And they also want you to be in that full-bodied place. They don't want the wishy-washy energy. I had a brilliant midwife when I had my children, and I was so lucky to have that continuity. It's always a tricky word, continuity between my 2 pregnancies. And I didn't expect that, because my children were nearly 4 years apart. And she was very much, with a lot of love and a lot of heart, right, we're going to do this, and this is what I need you to do. And she was just very straightforward, and I loved it because I felt so safe with her, so held, so looked after, so monitored. But there was nothing wobbly about that energy. She had that blend of warmth and smiliness and humor, but also that command and that expertise. So I want you to write down all of the things that you bring to the table. And if you want to, add the monetary figure against them. So maybe it is writing down how much you paid for that course, how much you paid for that training, how much your degree cost, or maybe you're looking at, do you know what, I spent 9 years doing that thing, or I managed a team of 20 people, and until you've had that moment, you haven't acknowledged that. I remember doing a talk, and I never used to talk about it because I hadn't quite clocked it at the time. But I remember doing a Zoom speaking gig, and I think there were 54 different countries on that same call. And that just blew my mind, that there were people literally, and I could see them all over the world, being present, being in this moment, and learning from me. And I think that at this time, especially when people are looking at investing in money, investing in support, they want to know all of the things that you've done. They want you to be in that energy of, I am the right person for the job, not, I hope you like me. Hey, do you like me? I'm not sure. Let me ask all these people. No. They want that clean, crisp energy. Number 2, where do you cheapen or reduce the price of your personal brand? I have learned this over the years, to really have that in the back of my mind when I'm showing up. Brené Brown says this so brilliantly and beautifully: to be able to share from the scar and not the wound. So I never want to be that person going on social media, go, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, this thing has happened and it's been a big drama and I'm so angry and I'm so cross. I do not want to do that. I will do that with my partner, absolutely. He's there for me, I am there for him. I might phone my mum and do all of that. But for me, it's really been about operating from that solid, grounded place with lovely boundaries. Now, that's not to say that I'm going to be this kind of glossed over version of me that is operating in this robot way. I'm watching the series, I don't know if you've seen it, Sirens at the moment on Netflix. And it's quite a surreal drama, and there's a lot of glazed over expressions where you're not quite sure if you're in a dream or not. I'm not going to show up on the internet and be like, hi, here I am with my toxic positivity, but I am going to choose wisely. I am going to make moves on a daily basis that are going to compound to move me into the woman that I want to be, move me into the business that I want to have, move me towards the impact that I want to create, move me into the money that I want to accumulate. This sounds really a weird word, but you know. So I am very careful now about what I bring to the table and when I bring it. Another way that you could be doing this is not sharing fully on something like your website. playing down what you've done before. And again, there's that fine line, because all of us are like, I don't want to seem like a show off, but please don't hold back. Please don't even tell us the thing just in case we feel like you're being too much. We want you to be too much. And there's always a line. And the fact that you're going to be intentional about this, it's likely that you're going to be able to find that. Number 3, the cost in relation to your ideal clients. I want you to think about the cost of them doing it or not doing it. And I always think about the people that come to me, the people that I've worked with for over 15 years. And one of the common traits that has happened at the end of sessions, people say this: "Oh, this feels really good to get off my chest. Feels really good to say out loud. Because do you know what, Nikki? I've never told anybody that before." You would be surprised how many times this comes up. And also, these people are also saying that they've got partners, they've got parents, they've got friends, they've got children, they've got community, they've been in other coaching programs. And yet there was something about this environment where they felt it was time to truly step up. And I often think about those moments, which are those sliding door moments. I know it myself when I've made an investment, that difference between doing it and not. I remember umming and ahhing about an acting course that I was going to do in 2023. It was going to require so much commitment, about 10 hours a week for 10 weeks. And I just didn't know if I had the time, the energy, the commitment to spare. But I applied. I did it. And it was a lot of juggling. It was a lot of saying yes. It was a lot of saying no. It was a lot of juggling is the word. Absolutely, juggling. However, once I had done it, it led to so many other great things. And this is the thing that we have to get back to, is the cost of doing it or not doing it. And so knowing what you know from people working with you, you need to hold that vision for people, because you will have people coming to you saying, I've never spent money like this on myself before. I've never done this. I'm nervous about taking my business to the next level because I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know how to do any of this. Please stay firm in this and keep showing them what's possible, not what they're taking away. So when I approached the acting course, I loved it because the teachers were showing me all of these things. You're going to learn this skill, and then next week we've got this guest tutor and all of the rest of it. So I was in that current. I was in that flow. I was not in the, oh my gosh, how am I going to have time to do that? I was in the excitement. And this is what we have to do. We have to hold this space for our clients. This lighting has suddenly gone very strange. Is that better? If you're watching this on YouTube, you will know. Anyway, I'm just slightly going to have Phantom of the Opera face for now. If you're just listening on the podcast, you'll be like, we can't see your face. Come over to YouTube, subscribe, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Number 4, your unique value. As a lover of a portfolio career, I do not believe in the jack of all trades, master of none. In this time of personalization, of being able to see things from a holistic point of view, if you have a pick and mix collection of skills, talents, experience, bring them all in. Honestly, bring them all in. That eye that you have is of such value. And I always used to see my portfolio career being quite separate, until I realized that I could link the acting work and the coaching work. And I always feel a bit cringe using this phrase of role playing, but I'm going to use it because we all know what it means. Sometimes what can happen is, and I've been the coachee, the client in this environment. Sometimes when I've worked with coaches as the client, as the customer, they have made everything make sense in my brain. And I have left this session thinking, okay, yeah, that looks good on paper. That feels like I can see how that's going to make sense. but I've never fully embodied it. And I realized this when I worked with a client around her pricing. And she knew she really wanted to increase her pricing. She really wanted to look at the way that she showed up. And she wanted her pricing to reflect all of the hard work that she put in. But she had such a block because previously she'd been in an hourly rate and she wanted to go to a package rate. And so we were working these things out and we were doing some calculations and this and that. And if I sold this, that would be fantastic. And the thing that actually changed it was when we began to role play the situation. And I said, I could be your client. Let's do the discovery call now. Let's see what the pricing feels like in your body. How easy can you say these things or not? And it was so interesting through that point of actually vocalizing this moment. That's when she realized, I'm not ready to go to that level yet. But I could do this price. I could do that. And that comes out quite quickly. But I'm going to need to do a little bit more work behind the scenes to fully embody that. Whereas if she had just put some numbers on her website, I don't think that she would have sold them because there was something in her, something bubbling underneath that was not in alignment with that price. And so what I want you to do right now is to look at your unique pick and mix. So I've spoken a lot before about all of the different ways that I earn income. And I truly believe they complement each other. Likewise, when I'm going into an acting job, for example, I know how to manage my state. I know how to work on my limiting beliefs because I've done that coaching work. Likewise with the speaking, I know that because I have had a podcast for many years, I know the sorts of things that people want me to talk about. And they might not put their hand up to say it, but I've had those private emails. Hi, Nikki, please don't read this out on the podcast, but I just wanted to say I've had those DMs for years and years and years now. So when I'm planning my speaking talks, for example, I'm not operating from that, hi, everybody, so I'm going to be talking about this and sharing some really boring statistics. I know people don't want to know that. I want to reveal the secret stuff. The stuff that people might be a little bit nervous to put their hand up about. So really tune in to your unique pick and mix and bring it as part of your value. Number 5, you know that I love an action step. Where do you need to make adjustments? So I want you to go through your website. I want you to go through your social media. I want you to Google yourself. I want you to look at the signature of your email. I want you to look at your desktop. I want you to think about how you're showing up for meetings. Are you emptying like your bag of old crisp packets and receipts and all the rest of it? And yes, my handbag does get to that stage. But when I go for a meeting, when I go to pitch, my energy is clean as anything because I know that that is part of it. I know that that is a part of me showing my value. And I think that for a while I rebelled against that. You know, when I was thinking about what my parents would have told me to do, I'd be like, no, I just want to sort of be this creative, spontaneous, free-spirited unicorn. And they were like, no, don't go in with all of that stuff. Keep it clean, keep it fresh, keep it simplified. And then you can operate in those money conversations and really contribute and really open up new opportunities. Because sometimes that can be the difference between you getting the job, getting the client, or not. Everybody is a little bit more risk averse right now. So how can you really show up in a way that feels great? One final point. We're not going for perfection here. And I don't want you to get obsessed with that idea of, oh my goodness, maybe I didn't get the thing because the inside of my handbag wasn't clean or whatever it might be. We are all a work in progress. And sometimes it is like that funny little chat that you have with somebody in a lift that gets you the job. But what I am doing is thinking about who that version of you is going forward, who that person is that you are really stepping into. You know, that moment in Mary Poppins, where they all jump into the picture and it becomes their reality. I want you to have that moment where you make a move and then the whole brightly coloured next version of you comes to life. If you would like to do this work with me, book a one-on-one session with me and we can figure it out, and I can be that pageant mum version who comes to the table and really cheers you on, reminds you of who you are, what you're capable of, helps you to clean it all up and take it to the next level. If, however, you would prefer to do this much more independently, come and have a look at your digital disco, and you can go through it in 3 ways. Again, you can do it as an online course, or you can add in a work with me session, either a strategy session or we can work together for a month. I would love to know your thoughts, and I'm sending you lots of love. As always, do subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow for part number 4. Lots of love. Bye.